All right, everybody, welcome to the show. Tell us where you're calling in from. Tonight's kind of like gonna be not a full show, guys, and I just want to be upfront and tell you I'm not 100% yet, but I thought about it, prayed about it, and God will probably reward me for coming on anyway. I'll do as long as I can and tell you what I know. Christina, since you come on and help me. Mike has had some family issues. I've been sick. Some people have been super polite to me and super nice, and I want to thank each and every one of you, especially my personal nurse on here with me. She's taking care of me, and this food poisoning's no joke, or whatever I got's no joke. I thought I was done with it, but it just keeps coming back. I think because I don't follow the doctor's advice exactly. She tells me to eat certain, don't eat that, don't eat that, and as soon as I do, it starts back up. So I think my whole inside is basically inflamed and needs to chill out for a while. I'm from Pennsylvania. Hi, how y'all doing? Florida, Texas in the house, Michigan in the house, South Carolina in the house. And let me stop. Please pray for Mike. He just lost his mother-in-law at 6 o'clock this morning. That's why, and I told him, I said, you just take as long as you need. And he sounded really sad when I talked to him. Of course, anybody would. And that's why I'm coming on tonight to let you know that things are going to be all right. And we're all going to be all right. West Virginia in the house, Canada in the house. Hi from Georgia. No, Georgia, Michigan, Indiana. A lot of people in the house. So, how are y'all been doing? I know it's been a minute since we've been on since Wednesday night, and I'm going to try to stay positive as I can. One thing I ask y'all, I'm going to do it live online. Please do not post videos on my Facebook page. That's what the group's for. Please do not send me instant messages. That's what the group's for. I'm ate up with all that stuff. But how are you doing tonight, Christina?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Right before I got on with you, I was actually listening to a Facebook Live with some of the coordinators that I'm helping with here in North Carolina for our governor and stuff. So I know that I'm going to go back and kind of listen and take notes. So we have a lot of things that are happening here. So
let me turn my volume down so we don't get echo. Yeah, and I've been busy. I'm trying to get better. I'm a crummy patient. I don't listen. You told me don't try chicken broth. I tried a little and found out I better not do that. So anyways, guys, here's what's happening. There's not a lot of news to report, but the news I do have is positive. Yesterday, they were given the speech the day after he came on and talked about Biden, talked about how great it was that he's getting the vaccine to everybody out there. And if you don't know, Trump's the one that got the vaccine out to everyone. He hasn't done anything but put a mask on and come out and talk to everybody. But here's what it is they're supposedly in the Rose Garden, right? And they're telling us this great speech, and Pelosi's behind them and Schumer's behind them. I got pictures. They're down in Atlanta, Georgia. They're not at the White House. My buddy, the guy, the citizen journalist up in D.C., rented a room right next to the White House. This guy's nuts. He walked out on the roof with his camera, and I'll share I'll share my screen, and you'll be able to see. And they had the PA system set up. It was quiet as could be at the White House, as quiet as it could be. How could all that be going on if they were at the White House? Then there's another picture of them at the White House, and a picture of the real White House with President Trump. The wood at the top's different. So it's all still a charade. It's still going on. I'm tired of waiting for something to happen. I know you guys are tired of something to happen. It's beyond time for something to happen, but here we are, and it's getting harder and harder for me to come on, and I don't want to tell you stuff that's not true. That what I just told you is 100% true. I've heard by April 1st. I've heard by March 23rd or 4th. That's all just estimates. So the reason I wanted to come on tonight, and like I said, it's not going to be long because I'm not even but about 70%. But I'm going to come on because I feel like I'm obligated to come on and talk with you guys. But that's almost all the intel there is right now. There isn't anything else coming out but negativity. And that's what I try to keep out of the group is negativity. We don't need, I heard so-and-so put this video out that the world's coming to an end and Trump's never coming back. Don't put that on our group. We need positive things like let's keep praying. Let's know that the positive things are going to help. God's going to come back and he's going to change the world. That's what we're looking for, isn't it? I hope that's why you're here, not just to find things about what's going against us as opposed to what's going for us. Trust me, when it's quiet, there's plenty of things happening that they're not going to tell us about. You're going to hear that that the old defense secretary is talking bad about Trump and he incited the riot. That might be part of the disinformation campaign. Know that if Sidney Powell did a interview and it sounds like she's getting on Trump, it's part of the disinformation. This is an information war we're in. So we can't show our hands, show our cards to any of the enemy, because this runs as deep as I'm watching something right now myself on the Illuminati. Part of it is in our military. It is. It's crazy. So when they said not all the military is with Trump, they're not all with him, but the ones that are with him are the loyal ones. It's crazy, and it's a 6-hour interview this lady did, and crazy enough, she's from my hometown, and her husband was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia, and he went missing because she knows so much about what's going on and how our own military is training other countries' kids to assassinate people. It's crazy. But the good news is God loves us. He's not through with us as a human race, and life goes on. If you want to jump in, Christy, and say something, please feel like, how's things going there? How are your things going far as organizing to get people to go into places with no masks? I was thinking about myself printing up some of the cards that say I don't have to wear a mask and it's against the law to ask me to for one in your establishment, and just giving them out to people. And if you don't let me in, it's a $75,000 fine. But how's that going with you?
Yeah, well, I'm compiling a list, and I put some stuff out on some private message groups. And again, since we're on, whoever is on here, if you're in North Carolina and you're in the Telegram group, or you have a way of getting in touch with me through social media, feel free to reach out to me for those details. I'm compiling some very aggressive lists of truly committed people that will actually go out and make that statement and do that. So, and again, I'm going to be doing that either the last Sunday of this month or the first Sunday in April, depending on when I can get everything together. My initial my initial game plan, I'm not sure if it's going to work yet, is say I have 60 people, is maybe taking three groups of 20 and making sure people are going like three different places. I'm not sure I'm going to have 60 people go into one spot. I have to kind of see how all that kind of plays out. But that's where we are. So I'm definitely taking initiative with that. Like I said, I'm really partnering very diligently with the Facebook group for our governor here, and partnering with Kimmy and a bunch of those guys, because our governor is going completely, totally against a lot of our constitutional rights. And the thing is, it's being swept under the carpet. So and actually, again, if anybody's on here is from North Carolina, I'm going to keep this short, but we're compiling a list actually. So if you have a doctor that won't let you into the office without a face mask, that's illegal. That's not okay. So we're compiling a list of doctors and professional individuals who are acknowledging your constitutional rights to do what you want to do. So if you need a referral for a doctor or a dentist or a dermatologist, we're compiling that list. So it's a great resource, even resources for people who are choosing to not send their kids back to school for homeschooling. We have resources for that as a part of the Facebook group program, on this mission for our governor. So if you need resources, let me, reach out to me if you want those, or if you know of somebody. None of those resources may apply to you, but if you know somebody in a transition or in the middle of making a decision or needs another doctor, something like that, we're happy to share those resources with you. I know I was talking to my son today, Doug, who's in Springfield, Virginia. And he's only been there a year. Fortunately or unfortunately, he's in a position where he needs to be there for about one more year, because the company he's working with is actually paying for his master's degree. So he's kind of has to be there. But I was telling him, I'm like, you need to get out of there. You need to get out of there, because now he was working every other week, and now he's gone back to work full time. And I'm like, I don't want you working full time, because I don't want him wearing the mask. And I'm just so disheartened over it. I'm very concerned about him doing that. But again, there's nothing I can do there other than pray for him. I think one of the things that you mentioned regarding the group and the information, and please stop me if I'm wrong, Doug, but I think, we have to be real and honest. Everything is going, we know the plan. We have to trust the sources that we know, DJT and God. Those are the two sources that we have.
Absolutely. I agree.
Those are the only two sources, but we don't want to, when there is something that's happening of concern, that is real, because there's so much fake news out there. I just got off the phone with somebody in the Telegram thread, not knowing what's real, not knowing what's not. Well, almost anything from the mainstream media, you can be sure is not real. There may be some underlying truth or bits and pieces, and it's hard to decipher. I mean, even for me, like, I'm constantly asking Mike and Doug, like, because even when you post stuff, feel free to post stuff, but just be conscious of the resources that you're choosing from. If you're putting something in there from CNN, more than likely it's not true. Well, there'll be maybe a 1% truth, maybe. Most of it is scare tactics.
It's how they put their narrative on whatever the headline is.
Exactly.
Any headline can be written several different ways. We all know that, and it's how they want to spin it and how they can get the most out of it according to what they're trying to do. Like I said, you got to remember that the CIA is running the news channels now. Now, we don't know how much of what's getting out on the news is what we don't know how much. I would think in my heart Trump's in charge, but I don't know how much he's in charge. I think he's in charge of the military because he's being protected by the military, and part of the military anyway. The best part of the military is with him. And like I said, this other stuff I'm watching tonight about the military is just crazy, and it's happening in my area. But I would just stick with your faith and know that we're going to continue as a race. This is a fight for humanity. It isn't a fight about, wow, I hope I get my $1,400 check. You can keep that, far as I'm concerned. Let's get our country back. I want to get back. I don't know if there's ever going to be another normal, but I want to get back to where closer to normal is. How's that?
Doug, do you have an answer? Bill just posted a question. I don't know what this is about. Doug, what is Biden up now with the bill cause of 57,000 loss of jobs if passed?
I have no idea. I haven't even been up with that. To be honest with you, I haven't watched a lot of TV because I've been so sick. I really not up on things. I scan every day through the boards and not only on Telegram, but in other places. But I'm hearing some of the same things that and this is not about, Biden signing bills and losing more jobs. I think in my heart, what's going to really happen is, remember when they said there has to be another crisis for Trump to come back. Okay. And I think the crisis is going to be right at the Mexican border. That's my opinion. It's getting out of hand, and that'll be the crisis that makes him come back. So that's just my opinion. It's not, it's not set in stone or anything, but right now that's the biggest thing going on in our country. Somewhat, we just can't let coyotes bring murderers and kids into our country. After what I just watched, far as our military training other children in other countries to be murderers, how do we know who these children are?
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? How do you know that they ain't been brainwashed? A lot of these people are brainwashed. You understand that are killers and murderers. And if you go back over the years and look at the mass murderers in our country, they were part of the military at one time and were brainwashed. It's not natural to want to do stuff like that. So it's just crazy stuff going on. I'm reading a couple of Richmond, Virginia. Glad you sound better. I'm doing the best I can with what I got. You know what I mean? My coach here, she's got me drinking plenty of liquids and Gatorade and trying to watch. I tried to eat a sub last night. That was a big mistake. It was like starting all over again. So the best thing I had today was white rice. That's me right now. See, I even got a joke in there, even though I don't feel good. But you got to know that we're in for the fight of the world right now in humanity. And I'm sorry if it's taken a little longer than expected, but my life can wait a little longer, to be honest with you. None of you are starving to death. None of you are out in the street yet. Just know that when the checks come, make sure you look on it to see who signed the check. It wasn't Biden. Word is that it's going to be Trump's name on the check. Why would his name be on the check? Because the Treasury is controlled by him. That's why.
And, with a lot of these governors, and again, Doug, I keep saying this, but you've got a little bit more background information than I do with some things. So feel free to correct me if I'm saying something that's not correct. But sure. I think our initiative is a big thing right now regarding our governors. I'm not saying we will or we won't be able to actually make certain things happen within our states. I think a lot of us will. There may be some that won't, but based on our previous shows, keep in mind what Doug and Mike have said, eventually, when things go back and DJT comes back, some of those corrupt governors and whatnot, those things are going to be taken care of and being addressed. So that being said, that is not an excuse or a reason for us. Remember what he says, we the people, not to do anything. We need to
get involved locally
and show the initiative and take the steps, regardless of what the final outcome is. Because we know in the long run, from what we know, the final outcome is going to be fine. But if we, the people, sit back and don't show the initiative that we're making the efforts, why would DJT or anybody else want to come in and wipe it all off if the people don't give a rat's rear end? So we have to show that we are taking the initial steps to make it happen at a local level. So it's really
here's what it comes down to. We got to get involved in our local governments, and which nobody has, and they just kind of done what they want for years and years. Right. And they promoted up whoever they wanted to promote. They've been cheating on the votes. I remember when I was a member of the American Legion, hell, they were cheating on the votes, and we know we outvoted the guy that was going to be the commander of the place 3-1, and the other guy still won. This is the kind of cheating that goes on every day. I don't care if a dude's running for dog catcher. You might want to see if he's ever hurt dogs or killed dogs. You know what I mean? You just got to investigate everybody that's running in your city, your state, running for Senate in your state, running for a seat in your state. You got to know, and you need to get involved, which nobody has, but the people that wanted to move up and make themselves more money or try to get more political power. And you got to know that it's all, most of our government structure is twisted badly, and that has to be straightened out. So like I said, when Nassar kicks in, then FEMA will be announced as control in each state. And when they do, we have no more reasons for the governors whatsoever. All new governors are probably coming to the ones that are good governors will stay in office. The ones that are working against the people, I mean, like the one in Michigan, look at the one in New York. There's no way Cuomo survives another week in my book, I don't think. They're going to force him to resign. They'll be dragging him by his feet out of that house, I'm pretty sure, or the police will be escorting him out. But he's done as a governor. Once he gets out, you can look for the state of New York, not to open up wide, but to start to open back up. And once that happens, and if they pull charges against the lady in Michigan and take her powers away, which is coming real soon, that state will start to open up, and then the rest will follow. This is just taking longer than we thought. Things have got to start moving. I don't want to say it's all got to be done by the 23rd or the 24th of this month, because I've seen some other writings that said 45 days plus 45 days plus 30 days. That puts us all the way in July. Who knows? All we know as citizens and patriots of this country is we can't wait till 2024. We can't wait till 2022, or we won't have a country back. And you got to think in your heart that Biden's being allowed to do what he can do, and he's being controlled by Trump and them. Why would they go on with the shenanigans? This is their way of showing you how bad it can get. You got to know this is all a puppet show. It sucks. I don't like the show. But you got to know, look at him. He's wearing a mask. Most of the characters being planes If they're not clones, they're doubles now. They've all been already arrested. So, they act like the fence is coming down one day around the Capitol. Then the next day, the barbed wire is back up around it. They're playing games with our heads. And it seems like they're playing games with the timeline about what's about to happen. So I think that keeps your enemy. They don't know what the hell's going on. Hell, we don't know what's going on. We try to keep up with it. So stay very close to your Bible. Stay close to God and know that He's in control. And get involved at the local level. Be that person like you. And get out there and say, man, I ain't got to wear my mask. You ain't the ruler of me. I'm in charge of my own happiness. I'm in charge of my own freedom. You're not going to make me wear a mask. I'm not doing it. I'm the type of person, if you want to call the cops, go ahead. Let me, I'll be filming it when he gets here. And guess what? You're going to be a star on YouTube, buddy. You arrest me at Walmart, or I've got to wear it in my head. I think I'm done with Walmart, but any of the other grocery stores, if anybody gives me any trouble, you're going to become a star. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to single you out. I don't care if you throw me out of your store and tell me to never come back. Every time I see you leave as the manager, I'll be waiting outside with my camera. You throw anybody else out today, buddy? You people are going to get singled out, even though you think you're upholding the rules for the for the local cities and counties. You're going to get singled out. Just like people are getting canceled, we'll start canceling the stores out the same way. I'm not putting up with the crap no more. Damn, I'm getting my groove a little bit here.
You are. I think you're feeling better. You go.
Well, I don't know if I'm feeling better, but I'm speaking from my heart, and God's letting me speak now.
That's right.
I still feel all bubble-headed and stuff, but it's the truth. Is we got to say to ourselves, enough's enough. When is enough enough? Joe Biden, just think, if you keep taking the vaccine and by July 4th, we'll let you have a cookout in your backyard. You dumb SOB. If I want to cook out in my backyard, I'll do it tonight. I don't need your permission to be happy and invite my friends over. Hello? We were doing that 3 weeks after you locked us down, you idiot. You know what I mean? It's stupidity. You know what I'm saying? If you believe any words that come out of this butthole's mouth, because I think that's about what it is. He can't even, you got to know there's 2 or 3 of them. One of them's got freckles. The other one don't. It's which one that climbs up on Air Force 2, the smoker. That's a different guy than that speaks on TV. He almost couldn't walk away from the podium, and his legs were giving out, him walking away. But the other guy can run up the steps. Did you see that to Air Force One? So it's not the same person. Like they said, the fakery is getting worse and worse. If you see anything with Anthony Fauci, he's already been arrested. That is a guy wearing a mask. It was coming off when I was looking last week down here. And I said, that's the worst one of them all. He looks nothing like Anthony Fauci. The guy's nose is bigger. His facial structure is not the same. They put a chip in their mouth or something back in there, and it makes them talk like them. But that don't make them look like them and act like them. So whatever you hear that's coming out, who knows? And the big question that I get is that you know more about me is the vaccine. Well, how do we know? And this is in my heart. You don't think Trump would promote that vaccine and it's going to kill everybody? So it might not be what they say it is to start with. You see what I mean? I got to hope it isn't. I'm praying it isn't. I'm hoping it's no more than a shot of vitamins they're giving everybody instead of the death. How could he keep saying take the vaccine? He's never said take it. He said it's available if you want it. I know that. I went back and watched everything. I'm the one who got the vaccine, but it's available if you want it. He never said take it. It's available if you want it. So
we went into a garden center today, indoor and outdoor, and my daughter and I were the only 2 people not wearing masks at a garden center. And the people were super nice, but they were looking at us like we absolutely were the, odd person out. And I actually talked to the people there because I needed some help. I genuinely needed some help.
Right.
And my daughter obviously is all over this too. And being, the role model that I am showing her, she's not about the mask at all. In fact, She went to her youth group today at church, and a lot of people don't wear it. They asked the kids to wear it. My daughter does not wear it. She doesn't get any slack for it, or anything. But it was so interesting that, even outside in the garden center, and I was just completely blown away. So we're very we over exaggerate with not wearing the mask. We're constantly smiling. We're constantly taking initiative to have conversation and not get in people's face in a rude way, but get like we're paying attention and talking to somebody one-on-one so that they can see, hey, like we're free, we're breathing, we're talking, we're
absolutely
smiling.
It's essential. I don't want people to feel like if they're not wearing their mask, they're violating some kind of law. And that's what people that with the mask, I hate to say it, and I was talking to somebody earlier today. I'm riding down the road and I see nobody's in the car and they're wearing 2 masks. You don't have to tell me who you voted for. I already know who the hell you voted for. You got 2 masks on. There's nobody in your car. You're walking down the road and you got 2 masks on and nobody's around you. You've already been brainwashed. You believe what they're telling you. Do your own research. Don't believe everything you hear on TV. I'm gonna read this real quick. Do you know if Biden's speech was pre-recorded? He messed up and closed caption typed the speech. Biden's speech, from what I gather and what I studied of it, it was all it wasn't even, it was pre-recorded pretty much, but it was it wasn't him. It was like they did the Pope, because when he walked away, part of his knee disappeared and all that stuff. It was a hologram.
Wow.
It was hologrammed. The speech was, because he'd never got through that live. That's why he don't answer questions live. He's unable to do that. But if you put a hologram up there and you can just have him act like he's reading from that, that's cool. So then when he studies for 2 days, he can do a 20-minute or a 10-minute speech at the fake White House down in Atlanta. That's where they're recording all this stuff. Everybody thought it was in California, Castle Rock. They're in Atlanta, because even the setup, you could see the grass wasn't green. The grass at the White House is green. The grass at Tyler Perry's White House is brown because they just put it in and it's dying already because he just got opened like in January. So that's where they're at.
I wonder if there's a couple of them.
Who knows? But at this point, we know there's one there, and that's the only other White House. Now, there could be sets to other White Houses. You're right. There's so much fakeness. That's a great word. So much fakeness.
So let me ask you this.
It's hard to know what's actually real anymore. And this goes back to when we were children. It's hard to know what's real anymore. What's real is what's around you, your family. You know they're real and you love them and you want to take care of them. You want the best for them. Just know that. And don't believe what you hear on the TV. Don't believe everything you see. I mean, it's Ultra K, whatever they called it, where the CIA just brainwashed everybody for years. They're still doing it. And people are still getting brainwashed. It's crazy. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I want to know, I know, just to kind of rein things in with the people that are watching, and with what you said at the beginning, as far as we're not really quote unquote talking dates, March 20 this, March 20 that. I know a lot of times when we were speaking, Mike was talking a lot, and you guys, about April the 1st and what significance of that. So
April 1st is a new fiscal year for the banking system. It's a new fiscal year for businesses as well. And from what we know already, and it's not even if, the quantum banking system is running parallel with the SWIFT system, which is current banking system. I had to go in my bank the other day for something and get a piece of paper. And I says, I asked her, I says, have you been trained? And here's somebody else that works at the bank, 2 masks on and wearing gloves. And you sit there all day like this? Are you a mummy? I didn't say anything. I said to myself, and you were probably not even making the minimum wage that they wanted to give, $15. They probably make like $12 an hour, and they're getting half the oxygen they need, and their hands are sweating inside these gloves all day. Forget it. I'd rather just be out in my, digging a hole somewhere, working on a construction crew to do that. She had no idea what the quantum banking system was. So I think the training has to be done at the bank level first, or they're not admitting it to the public. Or but anytime I'm with Bank of America and they've cut back so much. I don't know if anybody else on here Banks of America, but 6-7 years ago, the customer service was absolutely amazing. And there was 4 or 5 desks every time you went in if you wanted an open account. Now it's like Walmart. There's 2 people there. There's 1 person cashing checks up front and 2 people running the whole show. And you have to make an appointment to see your money. I was in there the other day. I says, I know I ain't rich like the rest of everybody else, but if I got to wait and make an appointment, just give me all my money out of my account right now in $100 bills. I'll take it home and bury it in the backyard because I don't need this. And next thing you know, we can help you right now. We had a cancellation. I don't put up with that narrative.
I think everybody,
I'm paying you to be here, and I got to make an appointment to see you at a bank.
That's what they're doing here too. I think it's a lot in the corrupt states. Like, I mean, I haven't been to the bank in gosh knows how long. I try to do everything mobile, which is probably even not a good idea to do because we don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
But I think all the banks that I am aware of here, as far as in the South, they're all making appointments. But when I was mentioning to you, about the first, again, we don't know, but we can only hope that it's in the first fiscal quarter that something was going to happen, because I don't see how we can go on till October like this. Like, I just don't.
No, it can't. And here's the thing.
Things have to happen fast then. Like, once don't they have to start being like dominoes. Like,
I think when it starts, it's going to be so fast it'll make us dizzy. It's got to be. But from what I'm gathering, like, I'm going to send you this video, and it'd probably take you maybe a week or 2 to watch this interview with this lady from my area. And I'm only an hour into it, about our military. You got to know that every part of our government is infiltrated by the Illuminati, every part of it. And now there's certain parts that aren't. And that's the part that's on Trump's side. And as they used adrenochrome and killing babies in DC to get people in the Senate and all them to pass stupid bills and do crazy things, or they would reveal who they were. They have done something similar, but in a different way in the military. They made them participate in certain events that would ruin their career. But if they didn't participate in these events, they would not get promoted up in rank. And we're not talking about just lieutenant, command. I'm talking about going from colonel to general, from captain to major, and moving up the chain of command. And I'm not going to mention on here what they made them do, but it's some horrible things. They weren't murderous things, but the things they could use anytime they want to hold over their head. They said, we need you to do this, or we'll, expose you for what you really are. And this was done all the way up to 4-star generals. It's crazy what I'm watching and believing. And the names she's dropping, some of them I know in my own community. Crazy. Here's a comment I said on Facebook about the White House: one day it'll be bulldozed down, and flowers will grow on top. The only have one comment to tell my friends, but they say nothing. I bet they think I'm crazy. Here's what you got to know in life, and this is the honest God truth. It don't matter what other people think about you. It's what you think about yourself and what God thinks about you. Doesn't matter. We grew up in a society where you grew up worrying about what other people think. And that's the whole damn problem right there. Don't worry about what other people think. Don't try to live up to their expectations. Live up to your own expectations, set your own goals, and set your own relationship with God. And you won't have to worry about what other people think. And you'll climb as far as you want to go. And you'll be as happy as you want to be in life. Wouldn't you say that?
Absolutely, for sure.
As I'm getting going, I'm feeling better just talking. So we'll just keep on going for a little while. Guys, I'm doing the best I can. I'm on here because I love you guys. I feel like I've let y'all down. But Christina, I've been sick as hell. And not one time I got sick, but the rest of it's not worth mentioning. But we've all been there. If you got food poisoning, you know what it does to you.
Go ahead.
But it just makes you. I'm just wore out. I don't want to say I don't have any a strength, but I'm just weak, even though I'm keeping up on my water, my electrolytes. My body's not used to using the muscles in this fashion where you dry heave, when you go to the bathroom so much. Everything's inflamed inside of me. And somebody on here says you got to go to the doctor and get a shot if you really had food poisoning. Well, if I really had it, an indication would be I'd have a fever, and I do not. I was going crazy today, and after I talked to her, after I talked a little bit, I said to myself, I said, man, I got 2 thermometers. I have no idea where they are. I'll find them this summer when I don't need them. And then after I talked to her, I just sat here. I calmed myself down. I said, God, please help me. Please get me to calm down a little bit. I got a headache. And I went and looked, and there was both of them. I took a picture and sent them to her. Took my temperature was 97.5. That's pretty normal, isn't it? There's nothing else normal about me, honestly.
I'm so grateful for.
I know that's too much information, but that's what's really happened the last 4 or 5 days. So
the med beds, that are coming up. Looking forward to those. I was just thinking, it was just a total afterthought. With people wearing these diapers over their faces, I mean, I'm praying I'm wrong, but with the potential of having a lot of breathing, respiratory issues and challenges.
Absolutely. And it's going to be another whole deal after they get the children up and going. I heard the manufacturer of them beds are just going crazy. They're making a lot of them. And hopefully, as soon as things switch over, hopefully behind the scenes, the kids are getting help right now.
Right.
I was watching the other night on a live feed that somebody recorded, and you don't know how much of it's true with this Earth map thing of the White House. But it was like before they cut the lights out at the White House the other night, there was literally 100 people that walked in there. But that could be running on a loop at this point. I believe nothing I see. Right now, you got to look at everything you're seeing with your eyes and hearing like you're at a magic show. Don't believe everything you're seeing. You're having the veil put over your eyes. You honestly are. You got to keep your faith. Know everything's going to be okay. And if they ask you to go with the masses, head in the other direction as quickly as you can. I'm serious. We're going to set up mobile vaccination places. Good for you. I mean, everything I watch on TV, I'm a NASCAR fan. Every other thing they say, don't forget to get the vaccine. Yeah, let me see you take it.
Yeah.
With your retractable needles. You're not taking it.
The formulators of the vaccine aren't even, the maker at Pfizer, they're not even taking the vaccine. They are not even taking their own vaccine. That's insane. That's insane, and with the information too, that we're seeing, keep in mind, to the best of my knowledge, we are still in martial law. We've been in it for a while. And so,
well, somebody asked, are you taking charcoal? This is what my nurse right here told me to go get it. Couldn't get the exact ones, but these are real good ones too. It works.
It does. But with us being in martial law, we can't make laws to the best of my knowledge. I mean, I think there are things that you're going to see that may or may not be being trying to be enforced, but I don't think any laws per se can actually be passed. And that being said, we still have to fight for our rights because they're not going to be able to change the Constitution. I don't believe
the way I see it right now, and this is just my opinion, of course, is if the United States Incorporated is defunct, our Constitution will no longer exist, but under the new one that's been written. And our Declaration of Independence only exists under the new one that was written. So whatever, that's why it goes back to Mr. T talking about, they didn't follow the Constitution. They did not follow the way it was supposed to go down. This is why he's making sure everything is done legally. Nothing is done illegally. Like that's all they know in DC is illegally. How much longer will God wait until the rightful president's back in? Get on your knees and ask him. I don't mean to be mean, but ask him that way. Get right with God and ask him when he's returning, because it's not really Trump. It's God that's returning to save the world and the United States. Kim Clement told us he'd set Trump aside for a season. A season is winter to spring. When does spring officially hit? I'm not sure of the date.
I think it's March the 20th.
Okay, well, there you go. There's your answer. If you don't get an answer, see if you can text God. I don't know his number, but I'm pretty sure it's get on your knees and pray. I'm feeling a little bit better, but honestly, doing the show is making me feel better because I think it's God's way of telling me this is what I'm supposed to be doing anyway. Even if I feel bad, he's giving me the energy to go on. I'll be honest with you. When we first started, I was looking at the clock going, I hope I can make it 15 minutes. And we're already at 40 and I feel fine. So I'll go as long as I can. I'll answer questions. I don't know who makes the med beds. I don't know how a jet engine works. I don't know how airplanes fly. I just know you get in them and they go. I don't want to sound like being condescending, but guys, I don't know the theory of relativity. I don't have them answers quite yet. March 20th, the first day of spring.
Yep.
Thank you for that. Thank you, guys. I mean, I felt compelled to come on after talking a little bit today, and I was like, man, I got to do something. And I told her, I said, well, I'll get back to you. And I prayed about it. I said, God, what should I do? You should try to do something is what I got back. Even if it's a little, try to do something. And look, he's letting me go on. So that's pretty cool. And I know some of you people say that's too much information. You've been sick in this. Well, I guess you've never been sick in your life and you wouldn't know. But you know what I mean? But I feel for you. If you get sick, I'll pray for you too. You know what I mean? I live by myself. There's nobody here. I got a whole house to myself. So I was telling her last night, when you feel terrible, and she said, well, here, talk to me personally, one-on-one. Here's my number. God bless you for doing that. I got somebody to talk to. She's a mom. She knows how, when people don't feel good, and she been sick before. People know how people feel. And she knows a lot of natural cures and stuff. Like, she was the one that told me what kind of activated charcoal to get and what other things I should eat. Tomorrow, I'm making my way to go get some bananas. That's probably good for me too. It's not hard for my body. I got to put stuff in my body right now that's easy to digest. Eating a big roast beef sub with mayonnaise probably wasn't the way to go. It might have tasted good, but my body wasn't ready for that quite yet. We'll be on like oatmeal and bananas for at least another day. I've learned my lesson now. Yeah, it is serious. Like I said, if it was real bad, we both thought about it, and I would have a fever if I was some kind of where I needed an antibiotic or something. I just think we don't need to get into that part of it. Just need to get back into feeling regularly good. How's that sound? So what are y'all's thoughts about what do you think's going to happen next? Besides, you wanted to happen yesterday. Do you know what I mean? We got to know that God is with us. Listen, guys, I've said it on almost every show that Satan has to stay in one place and use other people. God is everywhere. This is why they know they can't win. But once you start doubting your faith, they've won. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take our rights away. They're trying to take our faith away. I would look more at things like this, and I think you would agree that start looking at to make sure if something should happen to where food ran out, water ran out, you're in good shape. Not that it would, but what happens if it did? Are you in a position where you could still feed your family? And I don't know if that's buying that crazy food you see that you have in packages and keep them in your house, or keeping a freezer or getting a generator. But I would start concentrating on stuff like that as opposed to what day am I supposed to be back? What day is Trump supposed to be back and take the world back over? I would concentrate on if the crap really went in the crapper, what would be some of the things I need to have, almost like a prepper ready to go so my family survives. I'm not saying it's going to get like that, but it would be a smart move to put yourself in a position like that. Some of the some of the things that you'd need if COVID got bad again. I think a little bit told us all about the things that she keeps at her house, and if you could enlighten us on that again about some of the stuff you use when somebody's got sniffles or a cold or that you keep around your house.
Yeah, well, we do the appropriate sources of vitamin D3. We use zinc, we use quercetin, and we use extra vitamin C and natural electrolyte sources. So those are the items that I keep, on hand in my remedy closet, with other things, but specifically for viruses, I keep on hand all year round. And so those are the biggest things, specifically D3 and zinc. The C and the quercetin are amazing, but
what is the zinc good for?
The zinc is good for immunity. They're all good for immunity. Everything.
Zinc's good for immunity system?
Yep. But it's got to be the right sources. Like you can't, I don't want to say you can't. A lot of the things that you buy over the counter, you really have to make sure you're getting the right sources so that your body is able to absorb it and utilize it. A lot of the stuff at the drugstore, you're just.
Would you post in our Telegram group the kind of stuff that you recommend for our listeners? And guys, we don't try to plug nothing on our show. She doesn't make anything of it. This is just a suggestion for you guys to keep close in case somebody gets sick. And here's the thing with me is people say, why didn't I go to the doctor? Because the first thing they would ask me as soon as I got there, guaranteed, would you like to take a COVID? We recommend you take a COVID test. Do you know what I mean? I would refuse that. And I don't know at that point, I think legally they still have to see me. But you know what I mean? I'm not letting you take a COVID test on me. I'm not letting you tell me I got COVID when it's totally something else. You know what so I was, and that's a terrible feeling to know that you don't even want to go to your doctor. I was thinking at one time going to the ER and I'll just end up going to my regular doctor if it doesn't straighten out in the next 2 days. But I've been blessed and things are getting a little bit better today. So if I just pay attention to my nurse, I think I'll be just fine.
Somebody asked about magnesium. Magnesium is good in general in minimum quantity, but it has nothing to do with what I would have on hand for relating to viruses.
Right.
So, I just don't want you guys, the only information I'm giving you is what I suggest, and I don't want you guys throwing away your good money with something you buy at the grocery store or over the counter or whatever, and you're going to pee and poop it all out because it's not absorbing. You're just throwing
and some vitamins that you take are just like that. The greatest vitamins that you'll take are probably eating fresh vegetables and fresh fruit has a lot of good vitamins in it. It's the right kind. You can look the stuff up online. You know what? And it's just like what I'd love to see happen is more natural food put out at a decent price.
Yeah.
You try to go natural food. Any chance you can get to pull over to one of these markets that grow stuff in you see it on the side of the road, get your food, get your vegetables and stuff from there. You don't want them what you get at the store has been sprayed with all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I wash all that off before I buy it. And then sometimes you're wondering, how do cucumbers grow in December? They're not from this country. That's why.
Here's another good, just quick tidbit for you from a grocery store. I was doing a lot of my shopping at Aldi's. Well, I have learned, and I've stopped shopping there, that Aldi's is not, you guys may already know this, right? But I did not. It's not an American grocery store. Okay. So you're not supporting America. If you have a Lidl near you, that is an American store.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. And 100%. So I've heard there may be, 20 cents more for their stuff versus an Aldi. But to me, that doesn't matter. So it's right along the same lines as an Aldi's, but it's all American and you're supporting America.
That's good to know that I just got me a new store to shop at then. I've never been in one. I think I've been to an Aldi's and I was like, it's all right. But if I know I'm supporting an American grocery store,
correct.
I'm so old. I remember when there was A&P. And that was old school because you could buy a car through A&P. No, that was, I think they did sell cars. It was crazy what you could buy from them because they were the first grocery store. They were the first everything back in the day. Susan says, I'm praying we get the information on NESARA before I write a check for taxes. That's totally up to you what you want to do with your taxes. We don't give tax advice, and I recommend to do whatever your heart tells you to do. I've been prepared for a month with water and supplements and a generator as well since early 2020. Wow, you must have helped capture the flag in 2020.
Well, I'm actually
Good for you, Susan. That's super good. Her advice to have water and food, and the other one is always now. It used to be, well, a week before your prescription runs out, you want to get that refilled. If you're getting a 90-day supply, I would go as far as see if I could get it 30 days when I still had 30 days left. I would ask, what is how much? That way, in case something happens, you got more medicines. This is what's wrong with society today. We've all been hooked on medicines that we need for high blood pressure, sugar, and I take them. Don't get me wrong. And that's my biggest fear. Something shuts down and I can't get the medicines that my body are used to. And that's why, I'm just saying, instead of, you usually say, well, with a week left, go ahead and call, and then you give it a couple of days. I would go for at least 2 weeks now. It still had 2 weeks left, and get your prescriptions refilled if you're getting 90-day supplies of the prescriptions, or, you have refills on your prescriptions. Stay one step ahead of the game, so to speak, with that aspect of things. Just stay vigilant. I mean, don't spend your day looking at CNN and MSNBC or Fox or OAN or any of them. We can find ourselves, myself included, in not living our lives and consume with what's about to happen. And that's not a good thing. You need to get outside, breathe the air.
I wanted to make a comment on Marsha. She said, should I take money out of my IRA? And I want to make clear what, Doug said. We are not financial advisors. We are not any of that. I will tell you just a little bit that I know, because I have taken it upon myself over the past year or two to very much educate myself around IRAs, around the stock market, which we know what's going to happen there. And we know how that's going to be mirrored. I personally would not. I have an IRA. I'm not going to touch it no matter what your age is or isn't. I would make sure you have enough cash, on hand. And I'm personally hoping that we have a little bit of downtime, because that means stuff is happening. Like, I get excited about that. Like, I will actually be disappointed. This is just me, because I'm a freak like this. I'll be disappointed. Like, if something doesn't shut down, if I don't see something big happening.
Yeah, we want to see something. Here's what we don't want to see is anybody get hurt.
Correct. I was just going to say that.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, it's all right.
You know what it is God wants us all to live on this earth, helping thy neighbor. And we've been all caught up in this world of, and I was going to tell Mike the one show we were going to do, but we canceled it, is how TV has brainwashed us ever since we were alive. And I'm not just talking about the news. If you get this car right here, it shows you all the pretty girls with it. You know what I mean? You get that car, all you get's the loan. You better pay the payments or you're in trouble. Or if you buy this perfume or this purse, you get this husky man with it. You're going to get everything you ever wanted in your life. Mm-hmm. You've been brainwashing. You don't need that. You know what I mean? If they make you want the products by letting you see what you think you're going to get, like, and the prize is, and it's been that way. And I went back yesterday and even watched 1952 commercial for Chesterfield cigarettes and how these were actually good for you because we have tested them through the laboratory and they don't have none of these other things in them. And you're thinking to yourself, wow, man, that's a long time ago. Cigarettes kill you. Hello. Right. But you never see anything. And here's something else. And I know a lot of people that probably on here, may drink alcohol. I quit 8 years ago, but you never see much of anything knocking alcohol sales. I live in the Commonwealth of Virginia. They advertise on the radio. They advertise on TV. These are state-run stores. You got to know that when COVID, when everything was closed, you 6 foot apart, you can still go get liquor though. What?
We're gonna make a DJT cocktail though, so .
Yeah, I don't have anything against anybody drinking. You listen, I have nothing against anybody drinking. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I just have my opinion about it.
absolutely.
Didn't Jesus drink wine? But so I'm just saying
Yeah,
it's called a spirit because it puts you in a different spirit.
correct, correct. You
And,
know, and
and the things that will cure you, and I don't smoke weed or anything like that. They won't even let you mess with that or try to let you use some of them. I got some of it around here somewhere. Somebody give me like this stuff right here. If my joints are hurting, it's pure CBD oil, the real stuff. I'll put it on there. Man, it works better than anything I ever had, man, for my hands cramping up. How come they don't? There's no money in it for the government.
absolutely.
If they legalize, I mean, they did legalize it, but they tax them so much on this stuff and the drops to make you feel better. It's unreal, and I'm not promoting in any kind of way because I'm not trying to sell any of it. I'm just saying the things that will cure you, they don't want, and they've gone away from. Somebody was stating the other day that. Do you know that a doctor back in the day, this is a long time ago, I'm not sure how, if it was 100 years ago, did not get paid until you were better or until you were cured.
I found that out too. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's what can I give you to tag you along so you'll keep taking these drugs I'm getting a kickback on.
Exactly. It's just like the ivermectin and the hydrochloroquine. Look what happened when Trump said that. And there's another one that started with an R. I can't remember it. I have it written down. I can't remember it. But there's 3 of them. And, they turned them all away. And they could have given out D3, zinc. They could have given out these ivermectin and the hydrochloroquine and these other things, and actually, like I said, there are still a few states, I don't know them off the top of my head. I think South Carolina is one of them where you can get those drugs. And ivermectin, there is a food grade one, and then there's also a one people are familiar with that they give to animals, but obviously it's not that one. But hydrochloroquine and I think ivermectin, is good in South Carolina and a couple other states. So it's interesting to see.
That needs to be let loose nationwide as soon as possible. Did you see where they in some of the groups I've been in and the bigger ones where India, they didn't use hydrochloroquine. They used another drug very similar to a malaria drug, and they gave 3 separate drugs. It came in a little panel about this big, and they sent it to everybody in the country.
Wow.
And it cost them less than $4 to give it to everybody in the country.
I didn't see
Now,
that.
that isn't what they want. They want to make sure you got to know these things, guys, that Fauci patented the test for coronavirus and he patented coronavirus. Hello, wait a minute. The flu is a natural bug, okay, that you catch, right? If it was a patent, it was made in a lab. So let that sink in for a minute, okay?
Exactly.
And you made the test for it, and then the medications they wanted to start using were $900 a dose when the cure was $3 a dose. They were all. You got to know that Fauci, I got pictures of him with the Rothschilds and everybody else. He is part, this all goes back. It sounds crazy as you want it to sound. This all goes back to Nazi Germany. A lot of these people are still in our society today, and you better believe it and know that they are.
Somebody was saying remdesivir. That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, remdesivir. Well, easy for me to say.
Yeah.
You're damn right. These people want. I'm sorry. You're right. These people want to kill us. They want to eliminate us because all they want's the young people, and they just want them for the adrenochrome. And they're willing to keep 50, 60 million alive worldwide. Okay, worldwide. So you got to know that that they're just using them for harvesting. Why do you think all them blank apartment cities are in China? That was their intention over there. Why are these cities empty and they built all these buildings? Right. Think about it. Their thing was, and I think me and Mike mentioned it, if you guys didn't know, was if Hillary got in office, she already sold the uranium over there to that country that they keep wanting to bomb, Iran, Iraq, one of them. and they were going to set off a nuclear device in Russia, which would have been responded by them setting off, because they can tell by the uranium where it came from. They'd say that's the United States, start bombing the shit out of them. And that would have been the end of us. And what was left of us was going in them FEMA camps.
Mm-hmm.
And then their idea was to keep the children for the adrenochrome. This is actually what they were going to do to us. Okay. You can think what you want, but that was the plan. And they had no idea that Trump would come in and win office. And till this day, I still think he'll be back. I can't think any other way. My brain won't let me think another way.
But he's told us things. I mean, he has told us certain things, and so we have to believe.
The best is yet to come. He didn't say, well, I'll give you a date when I'm coming back. I'm going to tell you exactly how we're going to do it. Remember in the speeches, when I'm president, we will not tell our enemies where we deploy and when we deploy and how many will be deployed.
And why do you think his CPAC speech was taken down? He came right out and said, do you miss me yet? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's his first thing. And the second thing he talked about was the trafficking of children. The second thing.
Yep. So there are things that he has said.
He dropped so many bombs in that speech, but people, I wanted to hear more. He can't.
And that's why I got taken down. That's exactly why I got.
That's like, well, why hasn't Flynn said anything? He plausible. He cannot say what he knows. Do you see what I'm saying? He will release the plan. And what happened to the Kraken? What's his name's got that hasn't been set into place, or it has, and it's just maybe there's a few more legal battles they have to fight through the court systems before the rest of it's done. I don't know at this point. I'm a high school dropout that just started watching this crap, I don't know, 11 weeks ago, and decided to put 1 and 1, 2 together. And I'm just an ordinary man living in an extraordinary time and knowing that God's in charge. This is very extraordinary what we're going through. We've never been through this in our lifetime. Our country has never been through this since the inception of our country. And the world hasn't been through this since World War II. But the whole world wasn't at stake at that point.
We all have to be, there's 3 points I want to hit on really quick before you consider wrapping up. But we all have to become scholars here. Like, we're all new scholars with all of this. Scholars of history. I don't know if any of you guys saw the live, I did, but I could have given a rat's rear end a year ago about history. I've become a student. I've dug, but from the right resources, and so that's really, really important to become a sponge for learning about what's going on, what's to come, trying your best to put your faith in God, and also pulling your information from the correct sources, or asking the appropriate questions, from somebody that may have the correct, answers, even though none of us know, 200%. But I think we all need to make sure that we are students and astute of learning all the different things that are going on and all the different code language.
Yeah, that's I'm not saying you have to go out and learn every Q drop. That's not what I'm talking about. History repeats itself, okay? Correct. Look at what the Nazis did in World War II. And everybody thinks, everybody knows they killed all the Jews, millions and millions of Jews. Did you know that some of the German army and Nazi officers were Jewish? That was hidden. Then the ones that escaped were hidden by the Catholic Church. A lot of people don't know that, okay? So there's a lot of things, like I just heard my last name is Kuzma, but they say it's Ukrainian. Well, I know it is, but they said my name probably had about 10 more letters. When it got to this country, they just whacked them off, and that was my name after that point. But I was listening to a guy today, and that's where I got, be prepared to be able to make stuff and keep it in your closet that'll last a long time. He was talking about in Ukraine back in the 1800s, or right at the break of the century, that the military actually came to everybody's house and took all their, back then there was no prepackaged food. You follow what I'm saying? You hunted to get your food. They took all their guns away, and they come and took all their grain away, where they couldn't even make bread. People were starving to death. They're eating their dogs, their cats. Some people were eating their own family members. And that's really sad. So, I was listening to it was super sad. So, like I said, history repeats itself. So if you see something on TV about they're trying to take our guns away, they're trying to take our rights away, they're trying to take this and that away, go back and study history and see some of the things that the German government did to the people, and find out what they did. And if you look at that and compare it to what's going on right now, it's almost identical. Okay. Now we have to stop that. So
that's exactly right. And, one of the other things that we talked about was, there is a good chance that we still have the 25th Amendment to go through. And I think
I think so. You're right.
When and if that happens, and not if, I don't know if happen. When things start to happen, if that's a part of what is going to happen, which we believe it is, that's going to go really, really quickly. So you're going to see something with,
they're not going to let Nancy is our trump card, as we all know. They're not going to let Nancy get to be president.
So that's going to go fast. What I'm saying is that process, and people are going
to. What'll happen is she'll get replaced. He'll get replaced. Kamala will come to office. She'll be immediately impeached for all the things she did, raising money for Black Lives Matter and everything else, and bailing people out of jail. She was setting all that up. That's immediate impeachment. So she would be thrown out of office. And in between that and her and Nancy, that should be the end of it all. But that's just my opinion. I haven't seen it anywhere. I haven't heard it on TV. I'm just saying that's my opinion.
Right.
You have to come down to the conclusions of what would be the scenarios that they could use now. And whether they're the ones we think they are, or whether the ones the experts think they are, hell, we don't know what they're about to do. All I know is something's got to happen to stop the evil in the world. And it's just not here in the United States. This evil runs worldwide and hundreds of miles deep in our country today. And I believe the reason the Lord got me on here tonight is because I told Mike a long time ago when we started the show that I feel him talking to me, and I feel like he wants me to do this because God uses different people. Like I said, I'm just an ordinary guy in an extraordinary time to spread the word about how strong and powerful the Lord is. And I'm not a disciple by any means. I'm not a Bible thumper. I read the Bible some, but he is using me as a person to get out here and talk to people and try to give them some answers in a time when times are very, very hard and people are very, very confused. And that's why I came on tonight, and he's gave me the strength to last this long. I'll go another about 10 minutes, answer a few more questions, but I actually feel better as I've talked through the show because God can cure you in a snap of a finger. You know that?
Absolutely.
And this might be the best medicine I've taken yet. And I always give my praise to God, always. And that's what I'm giving him now. For me going an hour and 10 minutes, an hour ago, I was like, can I make it 20 minutes? And I'm like, no, I got this now.
You got this. Now, we because I have a lot of people asking me, and again, this is just an opinion. I'm not giving advice. Doug touched on this, but in regards to the whole tax thing, keep in mind, if you make the choice to ask for an extension, that's all legal. Because we don't know what is or isn't going to happen, right? So if you ask for an extension, you can still file if need be at that particular. You're just prolonging it.
Yeah, and then after that date is a penalty.
Correct.
And then it's I don't know. It's a percentage of what you owe.
Right.
This is my opinion. I owe a bill right now for about $600. They ain't getting a dime out of me. Right. They sent it to me the other day to remind me again. I wanted to send them a thing back and say, ain't the IRS closed? How are you still sending me that?
Exactly.
It's just the Rothschilds themselves sending me a bill.
Okay. So especially like if you're like self-employed, like for me, I pay quarterly taxes. I'm just prolonging that. I'm not paying anything to the cabal. I know where my money is going now. So I personally have filed an extension, and I'll do what I need to do, but you make the decision that's right for you.
God is not me using me as his prophet, because I'm going to tell you why. A prophet is somebody that God talks to one-on-one about the future and the things that are about to happen. I don't know what's about to happen, but God's speaking to me in a way to tell me to keep talking to you people. And I appreciate what you said, but his spirit is just telling me to continue on and try to help as many people understand what's going on. I've got nothing to do with it, but I got a big mouth, and I was a DJ for 18 years. And I guess he figured out, might as well use that guy.
We're all his vessels. We're all his vessels to get the word out.
That's it. And I believe he is, since I started the show, before that, I was doing okay. I have a little business and it was doing okay. But since I've started the show, anything I've had to spend on the website, anything I've had to spend on anything, because I didn't even question it. I just did it. I went and bought a website. I helped with some other things. It's got no relevance about the money. But what I'm saying is I've got the money back like tenfold over, because he's not going to let anything get in the way of me getting the word from him out.
That's right.
Notice how much I give him credit for everything, because he is the reason I'm sitting here talking to you right now.
Absolutely.
And that's just a fact. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a preacher. I'm none of the above. I'm an ordinary guy in extraordinary times, trying to help my fellow man and woman through some really, really hard times. And I guess it can sound like I'm up here preaching sometimes, but maybe it's just God using this mouth to speak out, because I see people sometimes and it almost gets tears in my eyes and they say, "Preach, Doug." And I'm like, am I? I don't even know. You know what I mean? So I'm so glad. I don't want to see a little bit coach me into coming on and either push me towards it. She just asked me, "Do you want to try?"
Hey, Doug, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you need to get rid of somebody online here, Dictator 3113.
Okay, let me see if I can find him. I got you. Well, when you got a name like that, when you got a name like that, you shouldn't be on here anyway. Say goodbye. I got him, Billy. Thank y'all for letting us know. But we're here because we love humanity. We love God. We love you. Then don't think for 1 minute that I won't fight for my rights as an American citizen and a patriot. I'll fight to my last breath, but I'm not willing to hurt anybody for no reason. You see what I'm trying to say is, if you broke in my house, you would find yourself in a world of hurt. But if you were laying in the street hurt, I would come help you, even if you were right or wrong how you got hurt. I'm just that type of person. Make no mistake. I love everybody, but I don't know how to put it. That doesn't make me a wussy. I don't know how to put it any better. You know what I'm saying? I do. I even be nice to people that are not being nice to me, because, I was told a long time ago, when about 25, 30 years ago, so I was probably about 35, that a friend of mine was a little older than me. And he says, I said something about an old person. And he says, "You know what?" He says, "When you get old, there's only one thing you want, really." And I said, "What's that?" He says, "For other people to treat you nicely and not treat you like you're 100 years old." It doesn't cost anything, guys and girls, to be nice to other people. It takes effort. It really does, to be nasty, screaming in your car. How much does it take to tap your brake and say, "Come on over, bud. I got 2 more seconds. You can go." But you would think that's going to cost somebody their entire day, their life. It's amazing, because we were brought up and taught by watching this boob tube that we want everything yesterday and give me a bunch of it. And life's not like that. What happens if you let that person go and you fell behind 5 minutes in time to where you wanted to go? And when you got to where you were at that 5 minutes, there's a giant accident. God could have just saved your life just for being nice to somebody.
Right.
I'm being serious, man. And I learned that off some of the 25 years. It costs nothing to be nice. Don't be mean to everybody. Even if people are being buttholes to you about the masks, don't be mean to them. Try to explain your point of view. Keep your distance from them and just tell them, I hope and I pray for you that you'll see the light one day. That's all you can do. You don't have to argue with them. You're gonna get these people that want to argue with you because they're convinced that you're not wearing a mask. You're an idiot. But
Doug, you need to remove Ken Elliott.
who?
Ken Elliott.
Ken Elliott. I don't even see him. Hold on.
Up in the comments.
I'm looking through the comments.
Unless he jumped off.
Well, his comments would still be here. Ken Elliott. I do not see him.
So he's there. 1013 comment.
Are you not able to remove them from yours?
I don't know how to do that.
You see, is there 3 little dots when you go to the right of their comments?
To the right? No.
Okay.
But I think you're absolutely right. This is his comment was at 1013, Doug. So this is I think that this word is the correct word to use, a pretentious time.
Oh, I got it. You know who Ken Elliott is? Hold on before I block you. No, let me go for a minute. Ken, you were the jerk in our group that kept demanding information on the SARA. Now you've jumped in this group. What you're going to be blocked from, because you're a complete jerk. You went through my friends list and tried to message everybody that me and Mike were stealing everybody else's ideas and stealing their money. Dude, I hope you're right in hell. Now let me find you and block you. Okay, sorry, guys, but that guy's been on my nerves. When I've had 30 of my closest friends, I'm talking about people I deal with. Call me, get on the phone and call me. Who is this guy, Ken Elliott? And I'm going, he's a guy we had to put out of the group because he was being nasty to people. And I asked Mike, it was somebody Mike was in multi-level marketing with. And I said, I got to put him out. He's demanding answers about how much money he's going to get. And we guaranteed we'd give him numbers and this and that. I said, so I just went in the group and I said, Ken, why don't you just call Social Security and ask him about this SARA then? Because you can't seem to wait. And he said something else nasty. So I barred him from the group. Then he went and did all this to me. You didn't break my heart. You didn't hurt me. But I finally got to get you to hear what I had to say about you. I'm sorry, guys. I just scumbags like that. I have to put them in their place in due time. But I still love the rest of you. Sorry that you had to hear that. I apologize.
Good. It's like it's the saying. It's a contentious time for a lot of people. A lot of people being anxious. A lot of people being on edge. We have to keep praying. So obviously we need to give each other grace. I was talking to Doug about that today, and we all get our feathers. excuse me, our feathers ruffled, and it would be nice to know that this, in our Telegram thread and here is a safe place to go. Like if you have a question or a concern or you don't agree with somebody, it's totally okay to voice that. I mean, I've put voicemails in there of like being stressed out. I'm like, okay, guys, I don't understand this. Like, thank you for letting me vent here, but do it in an appropriate way because we all need that lift. We all need that support. But
absolutely. If you got a question, I don't mind. You can direct message me in Telegram and I'll answer it to you. But I apologize. I've been a little nasty in the group the last couple of days because I didn't feel good. But when I see somebody put in the group that I've got proof that Trump is a 33-degree Mason, and I know that's not true. And I said, don't nobody put that in there again or you'll be thrown out of the group. And 5 minutes later, somebody says, I got the proof that he's a 33-degree. I can't take this. That I literally just, I'm done, and I can't let things like Ken and a few people that want to have cat fights in the group get me distracted from God's word. I can't let it happen. I can't. Matter of fact, I won't let it happen. How's that?
That's exactly right.
Ken has no authority in my life like Satan has no authority.
I don't know how many people we have on the live right now, but in our group, we have over 200 people. So we can't, when you have that many people, you're going to have a few bad eggs here and there. So when that happens, not if, because it's already happened and it might potentially happen again. When that happens, you can't let that distract from, the core of the majority of the people there. That's all.
Yeah. Now somebody's telling a friend of mine's got to go, but I ain't seen him post nothing, so I don't know. What did Billy Quick post that y'all said is so bad? Let me find it. We're going to give it about 5 more minutes. I'm going to call it a day.
Does anybody have any questions?
Here's one for you and Ken.
I don't know that we can answer them, but does anybody have any questions for Doug or for me? Or
Well, goodbye, Billy Quick, too. Thought you weren't a friend. I guess he must have broke into Billy's account and started talking for him, too. But anyways, look, guys, I guess I'll just wrap it up because we got a couple of people that are being nasty in the group. I'm not letting it spoil the other 200 people that are on the call that are appreciate that that we came on here this evening, and I appreciate a little bit coming on here with me, get me through this call. We did an hour and 20 minutes. That's probably an hour more than I thought I could go. And we want to know that if you came on tonight and we just helped just one person feel better about what's going on, we've done our job. Continue to tell people about the Telegram group. Continue to let people know this is a place they can come to be not ridiculed by most people, and that it's a safe place to come and talk about, because I know it's tough trying to explain to other people about what's going on in society today. I know how tough it is. So this is a place where, I don't want to say you can get red pilled and tell them what's going on. It's where you can come to get some of the anxiety off and put it in the comments and hear how other people are feeling about what's going on in society today as well. A little bit in closing, would you like to say anything?
I don't have too much to say other than, like I said, continue to keep, Mike and his family in your prayers, and continue to pray for Doug that he still is on the mend, and for all of us here, because it can be a very stressful time. So we just need to keep lifting each other up in prayer, and just know Froggy News is still moving forward, and we'll just kind of keep you guys posted as to what that looks like with everything that's going on. That's it.
Okay, so the plan is now, I don't know how Mike's going to feel tomorrow, but in any case, I'll try to come on tomorrow. If Mike's not able to come on, I'll ask a little bit to come back on with me, and I'll do a little research tomorrow, and we'll get a little show together for you guys, if that's what you guys want us to do. So thanks for stopping by tonight. Thanks for coming in at the last minute, basically, and thanks for coming to the show a little bit. Thank you for coming on with me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
God bless you, and good night, y'all.
Good night.